Now, video site Rumble has revealed that it was asked by a UK parliamentary committee to cut Russell Brand's income after accusations of rape and sexual assault were made against the high-profile comedian and actor. Brand strongly denies the allegations, but Dame Caroline Dinenage, chair of the Parliament's media committee, told Rumble she was concerned he could profit from his content on the site. Rumble have dismissed this and say they will not join the cancel culture mob. Here to discuss this, I'm delighted to welcome Nigel Nelson, the senior political commentator here at GB News, and TV personality and broadcaster Precious Muir. Nigel, is Brand a victim of trial by media here?
No, I don't think he is. And when it comes to what happened with Rumble, they didn't say you must do this. Rumble seemed to have either misread the letter from Caroline Dinenage or don't understand how the UK Parliament works, because obviously Parliament can't ban anything on its own. So what happened there was that Rumble seemed to think Caroline Dinenage was demanding that they demonetise, at the very least, Russell Brand, and that is not what she was saying. She was asking for their policy on how they do it, and the particular bit that's worrying is whether or not he got the video denying the allegations monetised anyway, if he made a profit out of it.
Right. Precious, you've got experience in TV. What do you make of these allegations?
Right, well, I don't actually know Russell Brand at all, so I can't really speak on him, but I do know, obviously, the industry very well. I'm around the big dogs all day long, and, you know, the kind of situation that I've been in, for example, I met Hugh Hefner at the Playboy Mansion, and my experience with him was perfectly fine. I had a great experience, I had a lovely time, and any time I worked with them, I was always happy and it was fine. But everybody has a different experience, so obviously the experience that Russell Brand has had with one person is not going to be the same with another. So these allegations, we have to wait and see if they're true or not. That's the purpose of going to judge, to court and everything like that.
We haven't, I think the question probably, the question is, seeing as we haven't got to a judge or even a police interview at this juncture, do you think that possibly this trial by media rather than trial by police investigation, do you think it's a bit hurried?
I think that working for Channel 4 myself, I've done numerous shows on Channel 4, and the reason behind all of those things is the investigation has to process, and I believe that Channel 4 go through a situation of processing those investigations. I haven't worked on the shows that I've done, Open House, for example, and it was just easy going. I was just able to be casted. There is a process, so we have to kind of wait, and I agree, social media has to wait and see the process to see where this goes. But I believe in consent, and working on a show like Open House, where I was amongst very open-minded, free-spirited individuals, the factor is you still have to get consent from everybody there. You can't just take advantage or try to, you know, do something that maybe necessarily the other person's not consenting to. And I think that is the key factor here.
And the trial by media thing, that, I mean, are you suggesting that the Sunday Times and Channel 4 shouldn't have published the investigation they had done? I mean, if you put the allegations out there, you can always argue that someone is being tried by media, but actually they can only ever be tried in a court of law. And what should follow this is actually due process. So in the event the police have the evidence against Russell Brand, that's where he should finally appear. And as far as the actual investigations go, you can't do nowadays you can't do an investigation unless you have some pretty good evidence to start it under under press rules, under the regulator. They demand that you don't go on a fishing expedition. You don't wake up one morning and say, "Oh, let's go get Russell Brand." They had to have something persuasive.
There's a process to it for them to lead to something like this.
That's right.
I mean, as I said, I went on several shows with Channel 4, and I know there is a process. You can't just be put on these things. Things are being investigated. We have to wait and see. But Channel 4 wouldn't just, you know, kind of put out a show there, like you're saying. So investigations must have been done, at least a year from what I watched on the documentary. So we just have to kind of wait and see. But what I would say is that obviously as a woman in the industry, I've had to navigate myself and have to, you know, I had to be strong in certain circumstances where I feel like I could be put in a position where I'm uncomfortable, you know, and I'm having to deal with very, very influential, very, very strong-minded individuals who can either ruin your career or make it better. You know, so this is the kind of situation that I'm in on a daily basis, and it hasn't stopped. This is the industry still to this day.
Yeah, I was an actor for 22 years, and I could bury most celebrities.
Right.
That are famous.
I mean,
today.
we all have
for their behaviour
experiences.
back in the day.
Right,
I could
exactly.
bury
things that we were okay
national
with
treasures.
then, back then.
Can I get my question out quickly?
Yeah.
Are we correct to judge people today in today's very, very heightened, you know, as you talk about, you know, the positive side of it being consent, but in today's very heightened socially aware status, are we capable, and should we be capable, of judging people in this current value system as opposed to the one that existed when Russell Brand was knocking his way about the world, along with every single celeb I knew at the time?
What the blurred line is there, which is a really key point that I would really like to make, is that the general public, overall, the general public think that rape and sexual assault is by a complete stranger, when in fact the statistics have shown that sexual assault and rape has been done by somebody you know. So this is what we need to make sure that the general public understand, that it doesn't have to be this random incident where this random stranger has assaulted that person, but it's also a key factor that it could be somebody you know. So that has to be clear. So it's like, you know, at the end of the day, those kind of situations do happen. Now, we don't know if those are true, but this is what the mindset of society thinks.
I think that's why...
And automatically, when you love someone dearly, they can't comprehend a beautiful celebrity that they idolise could do such a thing.
That's a more complicated issue, but it's absolutely worth raising in terms of context. Final word.
Yeah, just simply that in answer to that direct question, that yes, you're right, that the attitudes were different 10, 15 years ago. Promiscuity was actually more accepted, and Russell Brand's sense of humour was also more acceptable. Whether it should be or not is another matter. Rape was a crime then, and a serious and abhorrent crime. It's a crime now, and that is what we must focus on. It's the allegations which he denies, and that's why due process must take place.
Yeah, I mean, when I went for my first theatre tour, in the guest book of the place where you'd stay, it would say LD, landlady does. And then underneath that, it would sometimes say LDD, landlady's daughter does. So times have changed.
Times have changed.